Press the button. Yay!
Woo. And done.
Welcome back, party people, to another lovely episode of Mountain Goat Gaming. We're here to talk about the Mountain Goat Gaming Open that just went by last weekend, and we're just going to go through the top five lists, and we have a little gremlin in the mix, so it should be a pretty interesting episode for tonight.
So it was 1,000 points, 2.5 hour rounds. It was was each round was three random scenarios from any pool, and you veto. Highest dice roll vetoes first, and then go from there. Yeah, relatively interesting. Veto is usually done, in my experience, with you do one pool and then veto from there. But this was very different in the sense that you could pull literally like three Maelstrom scenarios in the one, or like a two Maelstrom scenarios and like a kill scenario. So it was like,
Yeah.
okay, well, you're playing one of the kill scenario or one of the Maelstrom scenarios, but maybe it was very, very interesting. Just a different type of veto that I was not used to, but it was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, for sure. Before we keep going, just want to shout out Barge Table. Please don't forget to use the word code GOATS for the 10% off and a cheeky little miniature in the prize. All right, let's get into it. So fifth place was Evan. He was running the Dragon Emperor. He is topping off 44 models with all the big heroes and two Dragon Knights on foot. A fair whack of like black dragons in there. We're looking at 3, 7 plus 8, 15, 15 black dragons in total, which is 1,000 points. Is nice. It's kind of sad to think that I was pushing 42 models at 800 points last year with the Dragon Emperor,
Yep.
but they definitely feel balanced. And looking at Evan's game,
Yes.
he he was cleaning up with this army big time.
Hmm. Yeah,
Thoughts on the
just
list?
having a whole. The thoughts on the list. Look, I like it. I think you don't need both Dragon Knights. I think
Yep.
you just flesh out from and just get more dudes from the four heroes.
Hmm.
However, I can understand if you really want to go more elite. The Dragon Knights are, to be honest, pound for pound, one of the best point costed heroes in the game. With the fact that
Yep.
they're fight six, they are Chads, and the fact that they add more Black Dragons to the mix as well and can
So
proc the fight value buff is pretty nice as well. So
definitely.
yeah,
The reduction
overall
in the
pretty
Dragon
good.
Emperor's like AoE effects are
Huge.
I think that single-handedly is probably one of the biggest hits to the Dragon Emperor, but it just brought everything else back in line. The +2 to wound on the front pikeman as well, like
Yep.
potentially is disgusting. So it's nice.
Oh
It feels
yeah.
pretty balanced.
Yeah.
All
Absolutely.
right. Fourth place was Nick Franklin, which was your last round opponent, Men of the West.
Yes.
Run through the list.
Yep. Yeah, so we have Aragon on Armored Horse, 18 tin cans in his, or no, sorry, 14 tin cans in his warband. We have Legolas with Cloak, with 8 Warriors of Minas Tirith with Bow, which I found very interesting. And then we had Gimli with another 12, one with a banner. And then we had Aemir with another 7 Rohan guys with Throwing Spear and Shield. Aemir was obviously full kitted. Firefoot was only without armor, though. Overall, very menacing, like going across this list, because I'm like, holy mackerel, he's getting so much value out of these miniature tin cans, just the shield wall itself, and the ability for the four Frodo to really proc on some turns is very interesting.
Yeah.
The 8 Warriors of Minas Tirith with Bow. It's the first time I really see Minas Tirith tin cans with bows at all.
Yeah.
I do, in some respects, like it more than taking just some Rohan guys, because the D5 means they actually can survive a Strength 2 shooting war relatively easily. But once that Strength 3 or Strength 4 comes into it, it is very interesting. Or sorry, the Strength 3 specifically. Strength 4, it means that the D5 actually does make a difference.
Mhm.
Yeah, overall, like having those 4 heroes, definitely. Oh man, Aragon this edition just feels like a menace.
He's very
He's
good.
he does not want to go down in any game that I see him played in.
Definitely. The
So
sleeper pick here that I personally wouldn't have gone for is Gimli. I don't really see a whole lot of Gimli. However, I do understand to buff Legolas at 1,000 points and really maximize Legolas slash Gimli with their, what is it, the tallying of each other's kills. That's
yep.
cheeky. It's nice, you know
Mm.
what I mean? And Gimli's no slouch either. For 100 points,
Yeah. I think it's also the fact that you can proc Gimli getting the +1 to wound early on from just Legolas taking out horses.
definitely,
So
definitely.
overall, really good.
Yeah, 100%. All right. Then in third place, we have our first big menacing meta list. We've got the Depth of Moria. We are rocking, oh God, 63 models, 18 bows, Balrog, one, two, three, four captains, and the Watcher in the Water. So you were going to see it at 1,000 points. We saw two of these lists. They both got in the top 10, and this is Matt Franklin, so Nick Franklin's brother, managed to pip him by one place. And yeah, I like the fact that he's lent into the bows because I feel like Depth of Moria need to have a bit of a threat with the range. I like the Prowlers. I'm not sold on the Prowlers. I definitely think you want to be maxing bows in my opinion anyway. So it's
Yep.
depth, it slaps, and yeah, far out.
It's just so many models with a board wide banner with +1 courage and -1 courage for your opponents.
Mm,
The Balrogs is one of the best leaders in terms of yes, you'll give away one VP for they'll get maybe a lucky leader wound. Congratulations. They are not killing the guy.
yep.
And the probability that they are breaking your army or breaking this army going into it, no, it's just not happening. Unless you have some magical tools that allow you to kill the Balrog over 2 or 3 turns or an insta kill effect, it just ain't happening.
I
But
agree.
yeah, it's just so solid. And then you have the support now, the Watcher, because you're now at 1,000 points and you can flesh out more points for higher pieces of utility. Yeah,
It's
it's so
crazy.
good.
It's crazy.
Yep, so good.
One thing I will say is I like the fact that Depth of Moria, whilst it is a pain in the ass to verse,
Yep,
overall, I feel like it's made people have to really think about how they're going to deal with the Watcher and how they're going to deal with Moria with the
yep,
shooting. It's helped people really stretch. Well, what do I have to deal with this issue quickly? So yeah.
yep.
All right, second place was Danny Giles. He was running Battle Fornost. Um,
Yes.
yeah, I was pretty proud of Danny. He took a loss early on in the tournament. It was a very minor loss, I think, to Sean with the Rangers in Assassination. Oh, interestingly, stat-wise, both Balrogs, both Depth of Moria list, lost in the Assassination round. They both lost in Assassination.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh, that's crazy, right,
just
Flynn?
why that's an interesting
Crazy.
stat. I wouldn't have got that one. But
No.
yeah, anyway, so we got Aarnor, Glorfindel with Asfaloff, Captain Círdan, and the Ranger. We're rocking 16 bows, a decent shield wall backed up by the elves. Danny went with the Rivendell banner instead of the Minas Tirith banner. He's got 5 knights of Minas Tirith and 5 hobbits to hang out in the back as well.
Yeah.
I've played this list a heap. I know what it does. It's solid. I did have an inkling that it would potentially cap out at 1,000 points because everyone's got anything and everything they want. They've got all their tools, and Battle of
Yeah.
Fornost relies on the fact that their 3 tools really rocks at 800 to 900 points. I think is the
Yeah.
sweet spot. I think Danny played really well, and his experience with the list really shone through. I feel so. Yeah, super kudos
Yeah.
to him. Would you change anything with the list? Is probably my query.
My basic look, I mean, it has the 2 banners, so I got no issues, right? So basically, I took this list to a teams tournament about what is it now, a month and a half ago, and I took it at 900. It basically is the same heroes, relatively the same amount of knights. To be honest, I just wouldn't really change too much about it. I think he's really hard committed on the 5 knights. I would have stuck with just 4, and then just fleshed out more. But look, it's personal preference. At the end of the day, it's just solid across the board. You can build this so many different ways, as long as you have a solid block of both elves and Minister Tin Cans to just try and just stall for time while your two big threats and Kieran just deal with whatever they need to deal with at a given moment. It's just so solid. It also goes into things like the Balrog, Sauron, so on and so forth, just so well because of just Eorn's ability to match any big threat's fight value. Only thing is, can he close the gap quick enough? And that's what the captain is there for, to make sure that the entire army can close the gap a little bit quicker. So yeah, overall, really like the list.
So let's set the scene. First place. Tyler did fly out to this event, and people said, Lyndon, it can't be done. People said at 1,000 points, you need to run big tools, big heroes, catapult trolls, Mumax, double dragons, Balrogs. Tyler set the bar with Lyndon.
Yep.
And he fucking won. He won.
Yeah.
Super proud of you, buddy.
Yes, thank you.
As a TO, just kind of hovering around the tables and watching the fact that this list, we'll get to the list in a second, but I'd just like you to kind of run me through the process of building the list and like a quick overview of your games. We don't need to go like one by one, but just whatever you think the highlights were. But like, you've been on the Lyndon train for quite a while now, but basically all year. You know, they did your boy Glorfindel dirty.
Gilgalad. They did Gilgalad dirty.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yes. One of the elves with ears, they did him dirty. And we've tried to fit it in at, 600 points, 800 points. And now the big thousands come up and you've taken the elves at 1,000 points. And I was really quite skeptical and I missed a few of the tweaks at Lyndon. So I feel like, I'll let you take the mic from here to run us through it. Why?
Yeah, so for me, one of my favorite characters is Gilgalad. I loved running Last Alliance last edition, and I was like, man, I just want to run Gilgalad again. Please give me something that allows me to really flesh it out. I also was like, Last Alliance, people get really upset with the 6-up rule, so you know what? I don't even want to take that. I'll take it in Lyndon. Lyndon, I think, is really, really donkey. The fact that it is requiring you to take him as your leader is very interesting and can lead you into a trap if you don't play Gilgalad properly. But the 2 special rules are 6-inch. Within 6 inches of Gilgalad, you get resistant to magic. That goes for all your elves. Obviously, it doesn't double stack, though, because Glorfindel already has it.
Yep.
As well as Círdan. Now, the other rule is defense. I think it's like within 3 inches of a hero, as long as you haven't moved in the preceding move phase, you then may re-roll to hit rolls in the shoot phase. It's really cute. It's the old Rivendell rule. However, it doesn't just have to be your leader. It could be any of your heroes. So you can strategically just move heroes about to proc that rule if you haven't moved. In terms of like game 1, it definitely allowed for me to really play into Muster of Isengard in Dark of Night relatively well. In terms of the list itself, it's Gilgalad, Elrond, Glorfindel, and Asphalloth, Círdan. Also, Elrond is mounted. Basically has like 12 Kingsguard, Spear and Shield, and then the rest is just a variety of elves, with the exception of 2 Rivendell Knights throughout the list. My thought process with this list is I play a lot of elite armies. So for me, I really wanted to lean heavily into having a multitude of tools and try and make them work, especially with the power of a veto system tournament. When I'm able to veto my shittest scenario, I think it just does a lot for the army in general, and it allows for even other skew lists besides Lyndon to play optimally. So for me, with the fact that I had Elrond for this foresight, another magic caster, coinciding with Círdan, and still the threat of Glorfindel in the back pocket, it allowed for Gil-galad to become the biggest cuck I had ever seen him become throughout the duration of this event. I mean, I didn't really have him as a front runner in combat, with the exception of 2 games. There were 2 games where he was in the front killing things. That was against Muster of Isengard and against Erebor Reclaimed, but he also was a bit of a cuck in that game as well.
Yeah.
Majority of the time, he was spear supporting his troops and just providing them with Fight 9 and a +1 to wound in the back rank. He did it to Aldrak and killed him over 3 turns. He did it to Dane Ironfoot over the course of 2 turns and then ended up killing him. He did it to Aragorn in the last round where he was spear supporting Elrond, forcing Aragorn to have to strike and burn resources. He definitely played very differently from what I had used him in the last edition.
Yeah.
Only in Muster of Isengard and the Erebor Reclaimed, where he was actually getting his old Blood and Glory rule from Time of Heroes to actually proc consistently killing some of these majority all hero Erebor Reclaimed lists. Círdan, fantastic. Glorfindel, absolute menace. To be very frank, though, the MVP of this list from this weekend was Elrond.
Really?
Absolutely. That little shit. He, even with 2 games or 3 games, I got 1 foresight, 2 foresight, and 2 foresight. Those foresight points came up every single game.
Yep.
Every single game. It allowed me to dictate the initial engagements. It allowed for me to either take priorities when I really wanted to do a shooting war.
Yep.
And if my opponent wanted to do it, it just came up so clutch, especially in late game. We were all out of might and going, cool. No, I'm taking this one. This is mine. Thank you. Yep. Overall, just so stoked with him. And it allowed me to also have 2 threats to go into a Balrog because I was very scared.
That makes sense. You feel that you needed 12 Kingsguard?
I felt like I did, yeah. And they worth every penny. I really thought Kingsguard are like way overcosted until I played with them this weekend and found out they too are some of the biggest cucks in the game. They stalled a lot of heroes. Dwalin, Aldrak, Gloin.
Like, do you feel that fight 6? Because if you're a fight 6, fight 5, going into an Elven spear, right? Do you feel that you want to be striking up to win against troops? No, you're never going to do that.
You need to. Well, it's interesting because it forces you to pick a paradigm. You either have to spend all your might to clear my troops, and if you fluff, you just wasted the might point. But that's the thing that I forced my opponents to have to do. They would go in. I remember against Nick Franklin, he had Gimli into 4 Kingsguard, and I was like, "You gonna strike?" He's like, "Nah." I'm like, "Okay." Dwalin, same thing. Over the course of 3 or 4 turns, I was like, "You gonna strike at all?" No. Yeah. He won maybe 1 out of the 4 fights, and I'm like, if that's what you're gonna do, that's up to you. But if you strike, you can try and clear some of these guys off. But if you don't,
it's interesting. It's spoken so much around spending might to confirm kills. And this is one of those scenarios where it's like, if you can confirm strike higher to win fights on your 4 dice with a reroll, to grind out maybe 2 to 3 elves, all of a sudden that line really loses a lot of the fight value war. The issue is that with this list, you've got fight 9, and then you've got fight 8, and then you've got another. Is Elrond fight 8 or 7?
Fight 7.
Okay, so you've got 7, 8, and then 9. Do you know what I mean? Like, and you're not even really fighting Gil-galad. Gil-galad's just forcing the issue and stalling the whole time. You know what I mean? So this is what I was talking about in terms of like the little sleeper things that I missed with this list. So I genuinely, if there's 1,000 points that come up, I'm going to play this. I think it was really, really cool to see. This is definitely your element of playstyle. Jesus Christ. Like, you
Heck yeah.
don't make mistakes, otherwise it just will hurt you. So well done for winning. You went five
Thank
and
you,
a
sir.
big wins too. The tournament rewarded crushing wins the whole time. So
Did.
you got an extra tournament point if you beat your opponent by 14 points or more. Um, yeah, and I think you got what three crushing victories or something
Um,
like that.
yeah, three crushings. Yep, three crushings. And the other one was like 13-10. The last one against Nick, frankly, was a 10-1 because Aragon just didn't want to freaking die for 5 turns.
Yeah,
But that's Aragon, and that's okay.
it is
I got no
Aragorn.
issues. Like
One
I
thing,
can't help it. So,
definitely, definitely. One thing to mention in terms of like meta setting for this event, people ran hordes, people ran massive model counts. There was
yep,
not a single double dragon breathe fire. Thank you, Queensland. Um, the big baddies were the Balrog watcher lists and Battle of Fornos, like armies similar to that. There was no sort of overt craziness. We saw Army of White Hand with 28 Crebain. Ooh, oh
ooh,
yeah. So it was definitely up there, and people could bring out lots of toys, not all of the big toys like I was expecting to see. So I hope people enjoyed the 1,000 points. And on that
let's
note,
go.
from me, from Tyler, from Little Flinny, have a good night.